How you doing, all my beautiful sons of bitches? It's your boy Backseat, and today we got Evan and John here, and we are going to check out this stupid video Ant made, basically running defense for Warner Brothers, saying Hollywood budgets and the box office are out of control, and he's basically taking issue with the fact that Superman flopped, but he's in denial about it. So, John, as someone who's like really passionate about this, why don't you give us your 2 cents for jumping in?
I'm not even a Superman expert. I don't wanna give
I
off
mean,
that
I meant
impression.
well, I know I meant the box office bullshit. Like you're really sick of
Oh,
people
yeah.
spinning it. So, like, what are your 2 cents on that?
Oh, well, just people like Ant here don't get math, and they just think like, "Oh, it passed its production budget. It's great." And also just like the general excuse of, "Oh, 'cause COVID, we should never have any expectations ever again. If even if a movie loses a bunch of money, that's fine because 'cause it'll make merchandise." And it's like, no, it's not how it's ever worked. Like, if that were the case, then we'd still be making Snyder movies, because like Man of Steel made more money than this one. Um,
Yeah,
so and whenever, like, inflation was a lot less, so it sold, like, twice as many tickets effectively.
yeah.
Um, so, you don't get to lower expectations because of COVID, because in the year that COVID came out, the fucking Japanese box office broke all of its records with Demon Slayer, like, literally in 2020 before any lockdowns were even fully lifted, so shush about that. Enough of that excuse.
And as we
Not to
all
mention, like, the
know,
9 other billion-dollar movies we've seen since then.
if a film is gonna make successful, it needs to make 4 times its budget. That's a fact. That's a proven fact. I stated that in my debate against Bob. Eh, but anyway, yeah, it's like I don't know what the hell I was doing. Like I did the math equation properly, but then I was like, hang on, am I incorrect about this? I think I made an error. I didn't. So in my attempt to correct an error I didn't make, I made an error and I came out looking like a dumbass. But whatever, man. That shit's water under the bridge. So anyway, let's just jump right into this, shall we, folks? Oh, actually, hang on. Sorry, I forgot. Evan, your 2 cents, real quick.
Well, I hear a lot of things about the earnings that Superman made. I
Yeah.
hear it surpassed the budget, it's doing good. I also hear it flopped. A lot of people are saying so. It's one of those. Uh, who's in the right here?
I
Like,
don't even.
geez,
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I
one more
haven't heard
thing.
this much of a budget discourse since Multiverse of Madness. Honestly,
Oh, jeez. Well, and part of this is just like the studios are dishonest about their budgets, so nobody really trusts them anymore. Because whenever they film in the UK and they have to reveal them later, it's always more than what they say. Other places that they film, they don't have to reveal it because it's through tax documents they have to file in the UK.
Yeah.
But, aside from just, like, whether it was profitable or not, like, you would hope it could at least be profitable being, like, the big reboot. Superman's a huge IP, like, you're putting James Gunn, who's a pretty he's got a good reputation from the Guardians movies, and, this should be, like, the explosion. It ain't like Iron Man where you gotta build up from there. It's like, no, you're starting off with your heavy hitter. You're starting off with Avengers, essentially.
Right.
Uh and it is revisionist history as far as like what people say they were expecting, because like now people are like, "Oh, this is all anybody expect, this is what it's supposed to do. We all know COVID and stuff." And I'm like, I saw a lot of 800 million to a billion projections for this thing. So I think it was disappointing compared to what you guys made. And now you're scrambling to try and run some damage control for why it was kind of a wet fart. It's not a resounding home run success.
Well, let's see what Ant here has to say about this shit, shall we, folks? Anyway, John, play ahead.
Before this video is over, I'm going to convince you that 47 million is a bigger number than 825 million. Kinda,
What?
sorta. In a manner of speaking, you'll get it when we get there. Superman is breaking box office records,
No,
yet
it
some people
isn't.
online have been calling it.
What records? How
What?
narrow do we have to make it?
Yeah.
Is it the biggest
Be
superhero opening in August, for a movie with Superman in the title, that came out in 2025? Is that the
pro-
record?
probably.
I think it might have come out in
It's
July,
like
but who
it's
remembers?
like
Because it's a forgettable
be
movie.
specific, Ant. What records?
I
Anyway.
know. Just saying something is record breaking means utterly nothing now since they started making up entirely new records.
Yeah.
A box office disappointment. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of people
Yeah.
compare the worldwide figures and the worldwide gross of the film to other DC films, such as Man of Steel, The Dark Knight, or even the original Superman films' box office gross, when adjusted for inflation. Some have also compared it to Black Adam, but that's a more favorable comparison for Superman. As of this writing, 2025 Superman is set to break 400 million worldwide after its second weekend out, with some significant retention of its audience from week to week. And in fact, as of recording of this message, it's gone a little further past 400 million. It ranks among the top 10 releases of the year so far. It's demonstrated substantial retention of its audience from week to week. Domestic numbers are up, while international numbers are
Actually,
releases.
hang on one second. So, yeah, none of these are particularly huge. I mean, Jurassic World had just come out too, so it ended up making more than that,
Yeah.
and more than Superman overall. Um, the fact that, I mean, this was undoubtedly a flop, especially after all the reshoots and shit.
Yeah.
F1 unfortunately had a huge budget too, so even though it made like over 600, it's not going to be, well, it might be eke out a like break even. Sinners had a very small budget, so that's actually successful. Thunderbolts flop, way too big of a budget. That's like meh. And these two are obviously big successes, but I mean that's mostly brand name, and Lilo and Stitch is just like those live action remakes for some reason
Yeah.
very
The
often
fact
do
it's
well.
even #1 makes me really mad, especially with the message
Yeah.
at the end.
We'll get them someday, Evan. Anyway, next.
Funnily enough, at least Little Mermaid didn't make any money.
Of the year so far. It's demonstrated substantial retention of its audience from week to week. Now, while some analysts see this as a huge success for DC's revamped
Huge
brand,
success.
others, especially amateur film critics and analysts, see it as a sign
Amateurs.
of doom
Oh
for the
shit.
fledgling
Okay.
So if you like someone, you call them independent. If they're not connected to the Hollywood studio system, if you don't like them, you call
Go
them amateurs.
amateurs. Yeah.
That's how you
Uh,
change your language. That's a little hint for listening to Ant's
yeah,
videos.
yeah, and yeah. So from now on, I'm gonna say Anthony Gramuglia is an amateur video essayist. Yeah. Meanwhile, fucking Kinoflex, he's an independent video essayist. Hell yeah.
Darth
Anyway,
Melvin is a independent
Darth
video.
Melvin. Darth Melvin's an independent shill slayer. Yeah.
I'm just picturing Melvin going to a premiere in full costume. He's like invited by the Access Media. He's got his popcorn. He's got to like throw it through his mask. He's like Ray Lover, just to the person in front of him. They're just like, "What did you say? Ree? I didn't say anything. Prove it."
DC Universe as well as the superhero genre as a whole. After all, Avengers Endgame grossed just short of 2.8 billion worldwide in 2019.
Oh, look, you know that's good because
The
there's
universe as well as the superhero genre as a whole. After all, Avengers Endgame grossed just
because it has Happy Ant next to it. That's how you know 2.8 billion is good for a movie, guys.
okay.
short
Yeah.
of 2.8 billion worldwide in 2019. In its opening weekend, Avengers Endgame grossed more than Superman's entire first week. So yeah, that's a staggering difference on paper. It's easy
Oh,
to
the
compare
devil's in the
one of the biggest
details, I
successes of all
see.
time.
Nobody was expecting you to do fucking Avengers Endgame. That was the biggest movie in the world whenever it released, like
No.
ever. And it was like the big finale of an actually beloved franchise up until that point. So
Yeah, I
it had
mean,
positive build up towards it.
yeah, I mean, we all admit it kind of stumbled at the end there, but yeah, it was still a much looked forward and still reasonably received well film, yeah.
Well, and the fact that they called it Endgame and like most of the stuff up to that point, aside from like Captain Marvel and stuff, but had like that it was billed as the end of like all the you knew that with some of them aging and stuff that it was the last hurrah. So it had all the finale bonuses.
Right.
To a new beginning, especially when it's all the heroes of Marvel versus just Superman. But looking at raw numbers without context can often result in you missing out a few key details. Endgame had a decade of build up to it, while Superman is coming off a decade of DC's inconsistent films, is one way of putting it.
Oh, so you know it.
The most
I like how now he says inconsistent as if that's like
A
as if that's something
pejorative, yeah.
yeah, whereas like normally that's said by shills to excuse complete failures. They're just like, it was divisive. It had inconsistent Disney Star Wars has had an inconsistent output, guys. That's their way of avoiding saying that something sucks.
Yeah.
They like soften the language so much. It's kind of like when they say like undocumented migrant. It's like you mean illegal alien?
Yeah. Oh.
important thing that Superman had to do was regain audience goodwill. Something similar happened with Batman Begins back in the day. The film grossed a worldwide total of $375 million against a budget of $150 million. It basically just broke even. I'll explain the formula later. However, it instilled such goodwill in audiences that they were more than eager to watch The Dark Knight when it dropped in theaters, which made it a
Why does he need to put his stupid avatar next to things?
I don't know, especially when he's already filming himself like in live action. It's like just be on fucking like Ants, pick
You
one
have
or
all
the
this space
other.
here. Just put the little box for Dark Knight if you want to show its poster right
No,
over
no,
there.
no, John. That's where he puts his fucking cardboard from the Ranma video. Yeah. Anyway.
Uh,
small number of films at that time to break $1 billion at the box office. How quaint. 2008, when breaking $1 billion was a rarity. Because $1 billion at the box office for a while became the standard target box office gross to merit success.
no, that's never been true. The
No.
first Guardians was
Shut
a
up.
resounding success. It made 700 million.
Mm-hmm.
Even Ant-Man was a success. It made 500 million. Like it's first of all, it's in relation to the budget. And second of all, it's like you kind of take the property into account. Batman v Superman, I would say, was not as successful as Ant-Man, even though it made like $300 million more. You have Batman and Superman, and you're blowing your load on their first ever team up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, you should have made $1 billion there. Like, the expectation changes with the characters involved and how hyped the movie is. This movie got hype because it was like
Hype.
advertised fucking everywhere. They had blizzards, they had comic stands and gas stations. They spent a shit ton on marketing this, and it's the big reboot. So you would want a big bang, like
Right. Just go
one
out the
eight
like
hundred million. I would have called it a success.
like just bust out the gates swinging. Yeah.
Yep, especially when you've already thrown a bunch of other characters like Green Lantern and that in there, and it's like, okay,
Right.
so it's not really a super solo movie.
Mm-hmm.
Super Solo. That would be the sequel to Solo.
Yeah, probably.
At least in the eyes of the public. See, film budgets had ballooned
I
so
love how he has Pikachu shitting his ice cream onto Darth Plagueis here. That's what he thinks of the. That's what he thinks of the EU, I guess.
Pikachu, I like you, but fuck you.
Pika, wipe my ass on your book. Pika.
so much that films needed an absurd amount of money at the box office to turn a profit for the studio. So recently, film fans have been looking at movies that are fairly successful and disregarding them as flops because they didn't cross the standard that had previously been used to dictate was a film a hit or not. But as you can see, as film audiences change their film viewing.
I would say $1 billion is like when it becomes kind of an undeniable hit. Now you can still look at trends like The Rise of Skywalker made $1 billion, sure, but it was like under or right around half of what The Force Awakens had made. So you could still call that a failure because they're like, oh, it's trending down rapidly. Like if we made a fourth one right now, it might actually like really become not profitable at all.
Right.
The same thing is happening with Jurassic right now, where like, yeah, that movie is profitable, but you're still seeing a negative trend line for the franchise because it went from like 1.6 billion or so for the first Jurassic World to like 1.3, then just over 1, and now it's like well under $1 billion.
Also, can we just talk about Also, I swear to God, did Ant seriously go onto the fucking saltier than great subreddit looking for ideas for this video? He probably went onto the fucking subreddit, saw this shit, is like, ooh, there's my next video right there.
Well, so what they did, and then what he fell for, was they cherry picked someone who made a really big, like, who made like kind of a ridiculous, like overly zealous statement. Like, oh, it needs to make 1 billion to even be profitable. And he's like, this is what the other side thinks. So now I'm going to lump everybody in who even slightly disagrees with me into like, oh, they all said it needed to make 1 billion to make a profit. It's like, dude, that is, you can always cherry pick a comment. It's
Mm-hmm.
I could cherry pick comments from your side that would say, oh, it only needed to make 300 million to be profitable, because
Yeah.
they are retards and they think that it just has to go over the budget. So,
Yeah.
don't ever cherry pick comments. It's such a stupid strategy.
Right, anyway.
Habits, opting to watch films either on VOD or on streaming services, box office numbers have shrank substantially. Take a look at the last several years of box office totals, the top 10 of every year. There are fewer and fewer films each year to break a billion.
Yeah, exactly. People have lost faith in Hollywood, and and they don't like most of the movies that are coming out.
Wah, wah.
I know you'd like to blame things that are out of their control because you don't want to admit the drop in quality, but yep.
Yeah.
If any break a billion. I guess this video is more just a loose assembly of thoughts about box office, how it dictates
Oh,
everything
he
that
didn't
comes
even
out
write a
on
script
film.
for this. What the hell, Ant? Come
Well, in
on.
fairness, at least he's being more honest than other videos, because his videos are always just a bunch of loosely connected thoughts, and then he maybe gets the title at the very end of it. So at
Yeah.
least this time he's forewarning you. He's like, by the way, I'm not going to get to the fucking subject at hand.
Uh-huh,
So
yeah.
we're well into this. Uh,
Film, and why we as film fans are naturally obsessed with numbers that tick up over time following a film's release, and how this can drastically change the conversations around a film away from the artistic merits and the quality of the film, and more about
I thought he said autistic. Just 'cause of his... I'm like, autistic merits? Why does it need to have autistic
It's
merits?
like that one nostalgia critic joke. It's like, oh, this must be the classroom where the autistic kids are. Oh,
big
love
number
that joke.
I've heard people make that joke, like, playing on words like that, but I've never genuinely like had to do a double take with my ears. I'm like, did he just say autistic?
Yeah.
bigger than last year's big number. Big number big, big number small. What big number mean? Because sometimes a lower box office haul can actually mean more success for a studio.
Wow.
Now, once we're digging into this one of the bigger sources for this video, as well as a place I am very critical of, as will be clear as I go on with this video, the subreddit Box Office. r/Box Office is a subreddit devoted to tracking box office numbers.
Yeah,
It catalogs
yeah, because
trends and creates
Reddit. Yeah, because Reddit is totally a fucking credible ass source. Yeah, totally.
I'm very critical of it, Backseat.
Oh my god, Ant's a smelly Redditor. No wonder. This explains a shit ton. It's like Ant even hangs out on the goddamn Mauler subreddit. That just tells. It's like. Oh my god. It's like if Anthony Gramuglia is in your subreddit, leave your subreddit. I swear to God. In fact, leave Reddit altogether.
Well, no, just kick him out.
Yeah.
Like, we ban you.
Mm-hmm.
Formulas to accurately predict how much every film will earn across its theatrical run. It's a subreddit run by fairly intelligent people who try to bring a degree of predictability to the unpredictable box office. Now, this is based on online chatter, pre-sale trends, international numbers, right down to a general time a film debuts and the typical trends how films are in that time period. It's very complex, and they cite their sources pretty thoroughly. Obviously, the subreddit is not clairvoyant or can predict the future at all. When predicting the estimates for the opening weekend for Superman, for example, they guessed anywhere from 70 million to 175 million. It landed somewhere in between, but they can sometimes guess way off the mark. And they were changing their estimates day by day by day leading up to the film.
Well, now he's just picking random ass emotes for his avatar. It's like he's talking about numbers, and it's like,
Yeah, it's like it's like numbers make me happy. It's like, what are you, a fucking preschool? What are you, a fucking preschool kids show from like Nick Jr. or some shit like that? God, I think
Release.
Ant's the autistic one here.
I am autistic. Wait,
Uh,
are you saying autistic or autistic? Oh, and
Now, I won't pretend to understand all the math, though. I'm not a mathematician, after all. I was always more into the
Wow,
art
really?
of storytelling than the
I mean,
mathematics of business success.
I thought fucking.
But I want to say right now that I respect Bob.
I thought the fact that Ant wearing like these glasses meant he was smart and he knew everything. What the hell, Ant?
maybe I'll read one of these books behind me one day other than Earthsea, and I'll see if I can actually understand.
Yeah.
Box office analysts and the work they do. It's not without merit, and it is very important. Film studios use box office metrics in order to determine what films they do or do not want to
No, duh.
Entire
You
franchises
don't
have been
say.
destroyed.
Wait, you're telling me that film studios care about how much money they make from their movies? Whoa, bro.
What a
That sounds
shocking
pretty
revelation!
capitalist. You sounding pretty fucking pro capitalism right now.
Yeah,
Jeez,
Ant.
dude. Just go join on the Donald Trump subreddit, why don't you?
Come on down, Anthony Gramuglia. We have plenty of cookies. It's like we let you beat your wife with allegedly. I know that these are like allegations against you, but so I just want to say allegedly in the event that you're not one. But we let you beat your wife as much as you want if you truly are one. Yeah.
He'd be like, I quote the great Sean, I keep wanting to say Sean Hannity. Sean Connery, he said it with the open hand. He always said, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. That's very,
Sean
maybe we
Connery.
should listen to him.
Sean Connery. He wasn't American, but he's still very, very wise. Anyway.
Before they can begin, due to low box office totals,
Well, yeah, that
such
movie
as
failed, yes.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Well,
Okay, maybe
yeah.
the box office analysts were onto something when sometimes low numbers are good. The era of the box
What?
office can be pinpointed to the mid-70s, when two films, Steven Spielberg's Jaws and George Lucas's Star Wars, debuted. And by Star Wars, I mean A New Hope. It was just called Star Wars when it came out.
Yes,
That's not to say there
yes,
weren't
we know.
massively successful films prior to those two. Obviously, the decades before had the massive historical epics like The Ten Commandments, Lawrence of Arabia, etc. And Broadway.
Well, here we go. We're
Here we
getting into
go.
The entire
Here we
history of Hollywood
Here
now.
we go, folks. Strap in. It's another fucking history lesson. Like it's again a Nick Jr. fucking kids show or some shit.
It's also like extremely basic history of like this isn't stuff that is going to really enlighten anybody. You're just repeating easy information to pad out your video.
Yeah, it's not even like really info that like is really all that necessary for the damn fucking video. It's like he's just doing more of this shit to show off his nerd cred.
Musicals, but that whole industry had imploded upon itself. The golden age of Hollywood was over by the 70s. This was due to rising budgets and diminishing audience interest in the massive musicals. That led to a decline, alongside the declines of the epic and the western. Flops like Cleopatra and Dr. Dolittle kind of put an end to that era of filmmaking. When New Hollywood hit and new directors produced films like The Godfather, Taxi Driver, The Exorcist, Rocky, that helped herald a new era of more grounded, darker storytelling. That ended with the flop known as Heaven's Gate. Jaws and Star Wars happened to come out right before Heaven's Gate and ushered in a new era of bombast and size and scale. For a while, film fans used box office as a general tracker of the industry's health and popularity of certain kinds of movies. After all, the popular narrative was that westerns all but disappeared after a series of high-profile flops. So many people came to believe that superhero movies would experience a similar drop-off. Overexposure would eventually lead to audiences losing interest. Now, this narrative is an oversimplification by general audiences, because of course it is. The Western never truly disappeared, but more dropped off in terms of quality, re-emerging every few years to garner critical or societal praise before falling backwards into relevancy, or irrelevancy, of course.
Yes,
Keep in mind, one of the most popular shows of the 2020s was Yellowstone, which is itself a massive Western. Westerns never went away, they just became less
Yeah, well, and it's just like it felt like westerns used to be the superhero movies, so there were a gazillion of them, and all the biggest actors being in it. So it's like, yeah, okay, they fell off as the prominent genre because yeah, people got tired of them. But also, yeah, oversaturation always plays a role in it. But that's
Mm-hmm.
true for like any genre. There's been a
Right.
bunch of those. I mean, even like you see the young adult kind of craze that was here for that was a short-lived one. But
Right.
that's an example of when the shitty quality hit right away, and so it died off super quickly.
Thank
So,
fuck.
yeah, remember a Legend,
Oh yeah. Yeah, like well,
Divergent Property or whatever it was
yeah,
called,
yeah,
Divergent.
that was the one about the fuck, what was that about?
I think it was like it was kind of like Hunger Games where it was like all
Yeah.
the different little zones and they were competing and stuff and
Yeah, like what was the main character's name? It was like fucking like Bella or some shit like that. I don't fucking know.
oh, I don't know. I just remember it was Aaron Rodgers'
Yeah,
girlfriend for a little bit. She went in
I know,
Woodley.
John. I'm making a joke about how forgettable it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I honestly
uh,
don't remember the main character's name though.
yeah, I know. That's what makes it funny. Anyway, let's keep going.
Relevant, and often westerns just weren't successful at the box office. I guess some people would point to The Lone Ranger as being a case that westerns are box office poison, but there's more to it than that. Lone
No.
Ranger failed because it
No.
just wasn't a very good movie.
There
But
he
I'd
is
say a
fighting
movie like No
Strawman
Country for
again.
Old Men, that's a western, essentially. No, kind of. Indeed, whenever a new franchise was about
Neo-western.
to
The term
start,
is
you needed to gauge
neo-western.
audience interest via box office success. Famously, Dredd, the adaptation of the Judge Dredd comics, the second, as a matter of fact, ended up leading nowhere when its debut film underperformed at the box office, among other factors. This is despite good word of mouth and despite video sales and streaming numbers proving the film had found its audience after its initial release. Of course, it could be because the film wasn't popular with general audiences based on an unknown IP prior, or because the marketing budget didn't really sell audiences on what the film actually was. Once it was on streaming or on DVD shelves, it became easier for an audience to just
Well, it was mainly that it was caught up in that post Avatar 3D craze and they fucking mismarketed it as they just like advertised a bunch of 3D shit right as everybody was getting super tired of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was honestly probably the main reason why it flopped. People
Yeah.
thought it was just a cheap spectacle of 3D because they tacked it on there.
justify paying to see it as opposed to watching a random movie at the movie theaters. Tickets are pricey. It's a gamble whenever you go to an unknown
Needed to bring
film.
back Sylvester Stallone and Rob Schneider, damn it. That was the
Yeah.
true Dread sequel. Wait, he was the co-star in that, right?
I don't remember, man.
Then from the '90s Dread, whenever Stallone
Yeah,
came out.
I believe Rob Schneider was there. Like he
Yeah.
played one of the villains as sidekicks, I think.
Yeah, like fucking you got Stallone being all like, I am the law. And then Rob Schneider's like, derpy derp. Yeah, pretty much.
Rob Schneider is Thanos. He's got to gather the Infinity Stones, but the Avengers are gonna stop him.
Yeah. Oh, fucking anyway.
Knowing what to expect. Box office analysts were able to tell when the age of the movie star was fading as well, when movies led by big stars stopped being guaranteed box office hits.
Amazing
Before in the
insight.
80s, people would go see the new Stallone movie, the new Schwarzenegger movie. In the 2010s and even 2000s, they'd see the new Spider-Man movie. Who was playing Spider-Man? Not as important. It's Spider-Man. The recognizable IP was important. Audiences recognize patterns and respond to
Kind of like I tend to avoid film or videos with you in them. Your
Yeah.
box office poison on YouTube. Unless
Yeah.
Backseat are forcing me to watch
I
one.
don't know, man. I don't know. I think Ant's fucking botting because there's no way in hell he's naturally just climbing his way up the algorithm. He's got to be botting, man.
He's been stalling out lately. I know he thought that he got a big thing from EFAP because apparently everybody loved him and hated them, even though everybody in the comments was still clowning on him.
Yeah.
And then he thought that he had changed them, that they weren't going after YouTubers anymore
It's like,
because
yeah, what an
because he kicked their ass so
what
badly.
an arrogant asshole, man. No.
Meanwhile, that was funny because it was right before the anniversary special where Backseater, among other YouTubers,
Well,
was examined by them over
damn,
24 hours.
damn right, baby.
It
Anyway.
was just funny because they like immediately made their entire anniversary about like a shit ton of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I had you
No,
defeated.
like,
Clearly, they're responding to my tweet the other day.
yeah, it's like, and it's like somehow EFAP returned. Yeah.
Fucking superimpose him over Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway.
He had his signature look of superiority there before I unpaused him. He had his little half-lit eyes with his chin up, like, I will defeat you with my video essay.
Yeah.
patterns. Those patterns are reflected in box office numbers, which is why industry experts saw them as valuable. The future of film was determined by what films made money. And film enthusiasts, casual fans, became more and more plugged in to the
I don't know if his audience is just his audience probably is a bunch of commies who don't understand how the fuck money works. But like,
Yes.
I feel like we didn't need 10 minutes of the video to explain that you have to make money in order to be successful.
Like, wow, thanks, Ant. Thanks for spelling it out for us. Whatever would we do without you? It's like
The future of film is determined by what makes a lot at the box office.
I swear to God, Ant legit makes his videos for like brain damaged retards. I swear to God, he has to. 'Cause there's no way in hell there's no way in hell he can just spell out the obvious for everyone like this.
I think he's explaining this so much because now he's going to move into the argument that box office doesn't matter anymore because of streaming and stuff and COVID.
Jesus
So he's
H.
like, oh, see,
Lucas.
before it was about all this money you could make, but now it's more about how much people make tweets about it.
pattern of film success. But of course, like everything, they didn't quite. It was too simple. They oversimplified it. Big number, good. That's easy to understand. Low number, bad.
Oh, you're just trying to make it so that nothing can ever just be clearly a failure. You always want to obfuscate and say like, "Oh no, it's very complicated. We're taking a lot of factors.
Yeah.
We can't just say that this failed because it didn't make any money."
Yeah, and who the hell are you to say like what constitutes a big number? It's like, well, big number can literally be anything. Like let's say I put out a film and it has like $1 million budget, and and then the box office it makes $300,000. Now that's a failure right there. But to a lot of people, you can say, well, 300,000's a big number. And it is to a lot of people. It's like 300,000's a big number, so it made a lot of money right there. Oh my God. It's like, God, he's basically just fucking like lowering the fucking like goalposts, or moving the goalposts, whatever the hell you want to say. He's like lowering the standards, so now like literally anything is a fucking success. Cause nobody fucking fails anymore. Everyone's playing on easy mode now, apparently.
Yep. Especially if you want to be one of the non-toxic YouTubers, you gotta spin everything in Hollywood now as a success.
Ay. Fuck Ant, man.
Right? Well, there are more factors at play here. The math isn't always as straightforward as it might initially appear. A great example
Says the
of
guy
a film
who
that completely
admitted he
broke
sucks
patterns
at
this
math.
very year.
Yeah. Now allow me to lecture you on it.
Yeah.
Was Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Yes, horror has always been profitable, but Sinners was an original IP based on nothing previously that managed
it's about vampires. Come on.
Yeah, it's like also this reminds me of like this argument I got into Ant with like where he's like representation is really important. It's like, didn't you see Sinners? It's like, and I'm like, and no one went to see Sinners because it starred black people. They went to see because they want to see like people kicking vampire ass. Dumb shit.
Yep, that's why nobody went and saw the Magical Society of Smelly Negroes.
Yeah.
rise quickly into domestic box office results. And a lot of journalists and a lot of film publications struggle to understand its success. Despite it being an original IP in an era dominated by adaptations, a lot of box office analysts were very skeptical that it could recoup its $90 million budget. It then did that, and then some. And then articles came out saying that it wasn't a short sign that horror was a guaranteed success because of other different horror failures, which is troubling. Several online commentators, such as the Critical Drinker, just outright refused to even acknowledge Sinner's existence on their main channels, relegating reviews for Sinners after several weeks of the film grossing and raking in profits to side channels, less obvious ones, as though it was a secondary concern for them.
A
Increasingly,
he reviewed Sinners like on his spin-off channel.
He also talked about it on Open Bar. Like, they all talked about it on their main channels, on their main shows that get like 10,000 concurrent viewers or whatever.
It's like, nope, not good enough. They need to talk about it on their main channel. It's a super important thing that they talk about every single movie ever.
That was just like a trust me bro too, because he just like totally said all that, made that entire accusation without mentioning anything I just mentioned, and didn't even like show the alternate. Well, I guess he wouldn't want to promote their alternate channels. People might find them and like them.
No.
But he's just like, oh, they did it. Trust me. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Here's at the box office is being treated like this fetish.
So far, this whole fucking video has just been a giant trust me bro so far, but anyway.
As well as just a recap of Hollywood history.
Yeah.
Metric of quality. Casual audiences regarded the film Snow White as a failure, not because the film is bad, it was also not very good, but rather because it had a low box office score. Critical reception.
Well, it was coupled. It was Rachel Zegler tanked a good portion of the box office. So it easily could have been, probably still would have flopped, but it at least would have made a little bit more if she hadn't poisoned the well. And then you also had basically, it's a 1930s film, so you don't get like the 20-year, 30-year kind of crowd where they're having kids or whatever.
And I highly doubt that the fucking 100-year-old grannies who first saw the film back in like 19 whatever the hell it released are gonna show up and like fucking see that, because they're all fucking dead. But anyway.
1937 is when the Snow White came out.
That's it, yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of bros, earlier, our good friend Falcon has a message for you, Backseater.
Oh yeah, sure, bro. What is it?
Dear Backseater, you're a tranny from Falcon.
All right, screw you, Falcon. Anyway, next.
Falcon Punch.
It's like Falcon block.
Box office numbers, you can't fight that. You can't argue hard math. 2025 Snow White grossed a little over 87 million domestically and over 118 million internationally. By comparison, the top grossing live-action Disney film, The Lion King,
what the fuck was that? He like completely messed everything up there.
Completely read that shit wrong. What the fuck, Ant?
He reversed it, and then he also read the domestic number wrong, which he listed as the international one, but like he reads it as 178, I think.
Over 87 million domestically.
So yeah, he meant internationally there.
Yeah.
And over 118 million.
118? That's like not even relevant to anything.
Ant can't read numbers. What the fuck, Ant?
And like he went through the whole editing for all the random ass cuts that he does whenever he's on camera. He couldn't do one more take of that. Like
nope. Takes are just too much for Anthony Gramuglia.
I don't do shit for my Star Wars EU book reviews, but I at least do a second take whenever I clearly mess something up with a detail.
Fucking and people take this guy seriously on everything?
Internationally. By comparison, the top grossing live-action Disney film, The Lion King, grossed 543 million domestically and 1.1 billion internationally. The Lion King's opening weekend dwarfed the entire collective gross of Snow White. For that matter, so did the opening for 2025.
And Lion King is like, that's the perfect one to release because it came out in 94. So now all those people are, all the kids that saw it are parents with kids. And they're like, oh, Lion King, I'll go see that for my nostalgia. And now I have kids, so I gotta buy tickets for all of them.
Instant throwback vibes, man.
And like I fell for that in the early days, and I still say it. The Cinderella one is still the best one.
Yeah.
I'm with Shad on that one. Because that was before they went into TDS mode. Because it was 2015.
Right.
So they let her have a dress and shit. They weren't like, I'm gonna become an engineer and make this carriage. I don't need a fairy dust for that.
Yep.
Superman movie. So that means that Disney is losing it, right? By the metrics we discussed earlier, with comparing it to the Western and its fall off, comparing it to the age of the blockbuster star and its fall off, this meant that Disney's live action era was over. The box office numbers proved it. This meant the end of the long trend of Disney adapting its classic animated movies into live action films. But they were a little premature to declare the age of the live action Disney adaptation over. Because it wasn't Disney fatigue, audiences just didn't want to see this version of Snow White. And we know that
Why is
because then
that?
Lilo and Stitch came out and was the
You gonna
first
mention Rachel
American.
Zegler at
No,
all?
no, no, because the actors are never at fault. No, 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 no. It's all
just
it's,
wondering.
it's always
Get an answer
it's
to the
always
podcast.
producers, it's always fucking executives, it's always these people, it's always businessmen, it's never the poor widow creatives.
Lilo and Stitch was like early 2000s, so again, like the IP is more relevant for current day parents.
Right.
Film of 2025 to gross over $1 billion. I say American, we'll get to that later. I feel like a lot of box office analysts didn't pick up on the fact that Snow White failed, not because the Disney trend was going away, but because audiences just didn't want to see Snow White.
It failed because
That's the issue.
Zegler, you
Or
dumb
rather-
shit!
Well, and also there was a general downward trend. He mentioned Lion King as if it was the previous one to come out. That came out in 2019.
Right.
There were several live action ones in between there that didn't do as well. Like the Little Mermaid made like 600 and something on like a 300 and something $1 million budget, so not really profitable.
Right.
And you know, that one was like a prime Disney Renaissance era one. And then I forget, there were a couple of others. They've made the Lady and the Tramp, they just released straight to Disney Plus
Oh, I
because
forgot that one,
yeah,
yeah.
they knew that shit wasn't gonna make anything at the box office. They just decided last minute, like, fuck it. And then like the Mufasa spin-off of The Lion King, that one made like 700 million, so that was profitable, I think, but not like 1.9 billion successful.
Right.
So there was a general downward trend. Lilo and Stitch is kind of more of the anomaly these days.
Yeah, it's the exception, not the rule, yeah.
The problem remains you can only go to that well so many times. Like they've pretty much done all their popular shit now. Like I guess they could do Treasure Planet, but that initial movie wasn't as popular, so you won't get as much of the nostalgia stuff for it.
Yeah.
Didn't want to pay.
They can make Pocahontas, and they'll make the girliest, bossiest movie ever. They'll be like, "We're correcting the past." Ah.
Unironically enough, I have said in the past to friends that I would totally direct a Pocahontas movie.
Well, there
Just
you
to
go.
see if I can make it as historically accurate as possible. But then again, that would be so messed up.
Yeah.
Wouldn't really be based on the Disney version at all. Then it would just be an original,
No.
like biopic, basically.
Yeah, yeah, it's like a legit historical fiction movie, yeah.
Cool thing that I would do though, if I was adapting live action Pocahontas, is that I would take the original voice actress for Pocahontas, Irene, and have her voice the grandmother Willow character. You know, the talking tree.
You
Yeah.
just said it was gonna be historically accurate. You're still gonna have talking
Yeah,
trees.
what the fuck, Evan? Come on, like
Hey, it's a Disney movie. You gotta have a bit of Disney magic in there. You gotta appease the mouth somehow.
Evan, what the Evan? You just said you wanted you know what? Whatever. Evan's gonna Evan, man. I guess. Anyway.
Well, as long as you still include the song "Savages, Savages, barely even human" as they're singing about the Native Americans.
Hell yeah, cause that fucking song was the shit back in the day.
Yeah, it's
but
the
anyway.
best part of the movie.
Yeah, the based
And make
part.
Pocahontas be as hot as she was. Anyways,
And it was also the most based part of the movie. But anyway.
you're
Oh,
about to
anyway.
blow those Indians off the cliff with those cannons if she didn't stop them.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, some of them are hot. Let's not kill them, actually.
Yeah.
Just take them wives instead.
Yeah.
No!
Money to see Snow White. What are families going to spend their money on? A film that looks mediocre, or a film that looks like it appeals to their sensibilities?
They could
Over
do-
the last 15 years or so, there's
There's
been an increase
tons of other things parents could spend on their kids. They don't need to go to the movies anymore.
Backseat are just going on the whole movie industry.
I
But,
mean, it's true, so.
That's been true for decades.
I
Video
know.
games have been around forever.
I know. Like, I get, it's like, you know, I've said this back when when Skeleton Crew was still relevant, but it's true. Kids would rather play on fucking video game consoles than, like, watch fucking Star Wars on Disney Plus. It's true. It's true.
Say for bad films, but
Yeah.
what's oh yeah, but those movies were like months and months apart. They were in completely different seasons. So it's not really a choice between the two. Disney didn't release them on top of each other and see which one made more.
obsession with box office as a metric outside of Hollywood, with film fans predicting trends based purely on a couple isolated stories rather than looking holistically at the full picture. Oftentimes, amateur box office analysts can look at the grossing patterns of films in a series and determine diminishing interest when it's just following an established pattern.
Why isn't everybody making excuses for films that fail like me?
Why doesn't Backseater like me?
Oh boy.
Disney's Star Wars trilogy. The sequels followed a certain pattern, where The Force Awakens grossed a massive amount of money, and the following two films grossed less.
I wonder
this
why.
was holding the same pattern established throughout the Star Wars trilogies, where the first entry in each trilogy garnered the biggest attention.
Okay, buddy. Hold on a second.
Hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. Yeah, take it away, John.
Back in the 80s, most times you did see sequels make less. That's a lot different than where we were by the time the Star Wars sequels were coming out. By the time the Star Wars sequels were coming out, we were in more of a pattern of like, if a thing is generally liked, its sequels make more. The MCU, the Fast and Furious films, those kept climbing until they hit their apex with 7. So like taking the trend from the 80s and acting like, oh, see, Disney Star Wars just did what the other films had done. Like, yeah, back then it was like, yeah, Rocky makes a ton, and then you make, well, actually, Rocky 4 made the most. But that's because it was super bombastic and patriotic and stuff, and kind of a different genre entirely.
Yeah, America. Fuck yeah. Anyway.
But it's like, usually you saw diminishing returns like that.
Yeah.
From audiences before slowly cooling off. However, amateurs who were not familiar with the greater trends in box office history looked at the sequels in isolation and thought, wow, that's a strange trend, not noticing that it is, of course, typical of what happened with Star Wars trilogies previously.
Yeah, because all the films made in order. Yeah, because like, hang on. So 4, 7, 1, 5, 6, 8. Dude, this is not in production order. It's not that they're not trending downward. They're fluctuating all over the goddamn place, you idiot. They're not going downward the further we go in time. They're just. Ugh, you fucking idiot. Oh my god. Look.
Also, this isn't even the trend. Look. Star Wars Episode 3 made more than 2.
Yeah.
Whereas 9 made less than 8, made less than 7.
Yeah, that's my point. It's like it's not my point. They're all over the fucking place. They're fluctuating, yeah.
Well, he wants you to just look at the top 3, because he's like, see, the first in the trilogy always made the most. But then if you go further down and try to observe the pattern, look, like, for the prequels, the third one made more than the second one.
Very interesting.
So that bucks your little trend right there, bucko.
Sorry, Aunt.
This is an example of people looking at numbers without fully grasping the patterns established by previous numbers.
Like you?
Trends in Hollywood shift, yet people still act as though we're living through the multi-billion-dollar-a-year films of the 2010s, a heyday of.
You just showed earlier that Avatar made multi-billion in the 2020s.
Yeah.
And that one Chinese film, I'm pretty sure, has made like 2 billion or close to it.
Yeah.
Cinematic profit, or rather, massive budgets and massive returns. However, things are a little different now, and a studio's poor planning in terms of budgeting.
Yeah, they've mined all their popular IP, and people don't like a lot of the shit that they're making these days. So
Yeah.
a lot of people just aren't going to go back to theaters, and COVID broke them out of their pattern. But if they'd have been making good movies, people would have fallen right back into the pattern.
Right.
It happened in Japan. They still make a shit ton of really successful box office that comparable to stuff pre-COVID.
Japan. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway.
Their films can result in a film failing to capitalize on a growing, loyal audience and good, strong word of mouth. The very same thing that helped franchises throughout the 80s and 90s prior to the release of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, another chapter in the blockbuster saga. As a result, they
Yeah, I know
may
that guy.
overspend prematurely, or spend too much where it may not be necessary, and turn what would otherwise be a hit into a flop. Let's start with Raimi's Spider-Man though, because Raimi's Spider-Man and Bryan Singer's X-Men were both fairly successful at the box office. X-Men grossed $296 worldwide on a budget of $75 million, and Spider-Man grossed $825 million worldwide on a budget of $139 million. Now, those numbers might seem small by comparison to Black
No.
Panther's over $1 billion, but you gotta remember the
Black
formula.
Panther.
The formula to determine if a film is successful.
Okay, first of all, $825 million for a solo superhero film, I still think that sounds pretty big. And the fact
Mhm.
that it was in 2002 money makes it pretty damn impressive. So I don't know why you're
Right.
trying to downplay that.
I don't fucking know,
Or
man.
not, is
How'd that second Black Panther movie do, by the way? Oh, I'm
I-
sorry, it came out in the 2020s. That's your excuse for why it fucking flopped.
Yeah.
Anyways.
this. Take the film's production budget and multiply it by 2.5.
Oh,
This formula accounts for marketing budget, the cut of the gross absorbed by theaters, as well as overseas, the cut
Dudes.
of the gross absorbed by each country
Dudes.
that shows
Fucking Sexplained brought the slave Leia bikini to Dragon Con.
Yeah, I saw his
Oh,
new photo. His cup
uh,
size has grown 3 sizes that day.
Fucking Sexplained is disgusting. I swear to God. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, look, guys, I'm in it again.
and screens that film. Once X-Men crossed $187.5 or Spider-Man crossed $347.5 million, everything beyond that was profit for the studio. That was the break-even point based on the formula, and it's based on a lot of different studies. It's not a perfect formula, but it's a general idea that most analysts use as a point of reference. And from there, the budgets grew, as did the profits. Spend more money on sequels, get more money when the film is bigger than what came before. Right? That's how it works. Right? Because no X-Men film after the first one was as cheap as the first X-Men film. They got bigger and bigger, same with Spider-Man. But here's the thing. Years prior, a lot of franchises didn't gross a ton of money per release. But because it cost substantially less to make the movies, they turn a healthy, consistent
horror movies.
profit. And I'm going to use an example right now from one of the most financially independent films of all
I'm
time.
gonna say, financially independent. Damn, I was thinking of Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I'm thinking he's gonna say one of the horror franchises, maybe
Probably.
like
He's
either
gonna
Halloween, Friday the 13th, or
maybe
Nightmare on Elm
something
Street.
by Blumhouse. I don't know, man.
Well, Blumhouse is pretty recent.
One
Yeah.
that sparked a franchise that is still going to this day, despite ending multiple times.
Halloween.
John Carpenter's Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween is to date
Called
one of
it.
the most successful film franchises
I also know
to
that guy.
ever exist, lasting nearly 50 years with multiple
Michael Myers?
reboots and timeline adjustments
Oh, John
to
Carpenter.
reinvent Michael Myers for every generation.
Dude, like how
But
fucking
I
hilarious.
did
How
meet, I did meet
looking
one
at
of the guys who did play Michael Myers in the first movie.
Oh yeah, which one?
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Oh wow, damn.
Well,
And by
say
the
hi
way,
from
I
the
just-
Backseat Boys.
Oh, probably. By the way, I had an epiphany.
What?
Hmm.
Oh, not just an epiphany, but an epiphany. What is it, Evan?
Hallucinogenic mushrooms.
What
Mmm.
about them?
Pocahontas ingests them by accident, and that's why the tree talks.
Ah, maybe, yeah.
And then she sees those funky visuals, like when they did the Colors of the Wind
The
song, the
Yeah.
original.
It-
She's like
see,
looking
it's
at her
like
hand and
poetry.
becomes
It
It
blind.
rhymes, you
rhymes,
guys.
yeah.
And then Jar Jar Binks pops out. He's like, "You are not to trust the colonistas. Oh no."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm imagining racial caricatures. No." And these don't even exist yet because they haven't brought their slaves over.
Yeah.
Box office, right? Not film quality or what have you. On paper, the original Halloween's grossing, which is primarily domestic, it didn't really go much overseas, it looks pathetic. It grossed only $47 million.
Yes, it was independent. It hardly cost anything. This isn't hard. You don't have to keep explaining the same concept about budgets.
Nope, gotta
With
hammer it
a
home, John.
Ugh.
relatively small international run, where it got $11.7 thousand internationally. That sounds like nothing. We're talking about hundreds of millions, and Halloween's the most successful one.
Yeah,
But there's
yeah.
more than meets the eye here. See, you gotta consider a couple things. First off, ticket price and inflation. Tickets today are worth far,
now
far
you wanna talk
more
about
than in
inflation.
1978. This chart from Box Office, the subreddit, it kind of sorts some data from the National Association of Theater Owners, which is, I found out the abbreviation for that is NATO. Odd choice there. They also adjusted ticket prices on average with inflation, and in
Well, it's like an acronym for that because the letters start with N, A, T, and O. So it's not
Yeah.
really their choice. It's what
Yeah.
they're called.
Yeah.
2025, the average ticket price is approximately $13 to $15, accounting for special screenings as well as discount screenings, etc. But in 1978, those same tickets would have cost you around $2.5. And even accounting for inflation, that's still substantially less than a ticket would cost today. You were spending maybe half the amount on a ticket. This meant more people were willing to take a risk on a film like John Carpenter's Halloween. As time went on, good word of mouth was built around the fan base. People started talking about it. It was becoming a bigger thing. And of course, back then, movies weren't released nationally like they are now. They were released section by section.
Okay, so far he's had to explain the concepts of word of mouth, budget, and and the ability to make money.
Yeah.
Keeping things successful.
God,
Alright.
like it's like
Across
this
the
really is a fucking Nick Jr. preschool show. He has to explain basic fucking shit. And it's like the bad thing is that his audience is like people his age. It's like you should know this shit already, dumbass. Or
It's a
like
bunch of people that already agree with him and know all of this, but they're
yeah.
like, "Oh, you summarize it so
Yeah, I
intelligently."
swear to God, Ant only makes these. Ant goes on these fucking explanation tangents because like he thinks his audience is like legit stupid. Ugh. Anyway,
country. And when it came time for sequels, everyone had already seen Halloween. It was on TV. They borrowed the video cassette. They'd watched it in screenings, etc. So by the time Halloween 2 came out, more people went to see it. Halloween 3, 4, 5, 6, however many, they went to see it based purely on word of mouth and expectations of the IP. 2018's Halloween grossed $259.9 million against a budget of $10 million. Which brings me to the second thing. Halloween, the original film's budget, was $325,000.
I was gonna say 300K.
That's right, a tiny sub-$1 million budget. Even adjusted for inflation, that would make it $1.5 million in today's money. This film had a tiny budget. When looking at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, its film grossed a little less.
I shouldn't really have to explain this. Spider-Man is filled with visual effects and famous actors. Fucking Halloween. I know Jamie Lee Curtis is famous now, but she was very young at the time. And it was before she got her speak to the manager haircut. But
yeah,
and then like you had a bunch of other I think Donald Pleasance was pretty much the only like well-known actor
he
in it, and
was.
he was in a
Yeah,
more supporting role. So yeah, he is still probably one of the best parts of the movie though. But it's just
yeah.
like, dude, yeah, of course everybody fucking knows that Halloween looks cheap. If you actually think
It
about like
really does look
what's
cheap. Yeah.
if you think about like what's entailed with it, it's like they're walking around the suburbs and then he like breaks a closet at the end. It's a guy in a pretty basic costume. There's not really, it's all atmosphere and and dialogue and music, basically. It's not like he's swinging around on webs and fucking blowing people up with pumpkin bombs and shit.
Yeah,
Well,
although
I guess
that'd be
John
although
didn't use pumpkin
although
bombs,
although it
yeah.
would be fucking hilarious seeing Michael Myers do that. Let's be real, yeah.
He's
If
just
you want to
like,
see something close to that, a friend of mine actually made a Spider-Man fan film called Miles Morales versus Michael
Oh,
Myers.
fuck
yeah.
that. I'm not
Wait, is it
watching
a
that.
Spider-Man film or a Miles Morales film?
It's a Miles Morales film.
Evan, the only way I'm watching that is if Miles dies. I swear to God.
Oh god.
Well,
He like
it's
just keeps
Jeez.
killing Michael Myers and then Michael Myers just keeps getting up and eventually just stabs him.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh man, my spidey sense didn't detect resurrection. Whoa."
Anyway.
Than 6 times its production budget. X-Men grossed just short of 4 times its budget. Halloween 2018, well, that grossed 26 times its own budget. But the
Blumhouse,
original Halloween, John Carpenter's $47 million box office turn
11 billion
equals
times.
144.6 times.
Oh look, he added
the
a
film.
fire graphic, so you know that's a really good number. It's like when you get a combo in Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Film's production budget.
Full
Let me give you some
combo.
perspective here. Let's say you're an investor for all these films, right? Accounting for the 2.5 formula, for every dollar you put into X-Men, after you got your money back from the returns and all that, you got an extra $1.50. So you walked away with $2.5 for every dollar you put in. Now, for Spider-Man, you walked away with an extra $4.50. Not bad, right? Now, every
Not
dollar
bad,
put into
not
John Carpenter's
bad.
Halloween, you got over $142 back, roughly. So, what's the more profitable endeavor? There are many film studios that use the Halloween structure, low budgets, high return, for profit. Jason Blumhouse, he makes
There
a
he
dozen films a year,
is.
and they all cost next to nothing. 5 million, 10 million, 20 million maybe at most. And if 5 of them fail, who cares? Because the successes are so profitable that it eclipses all the other costs possible.
He's
Yeah,
the
you hear about their successes, but there's a shit ton that they like. He's showing the more successful ones here, but Blumhouse does release a shit ton of movies that people just don't even hear about.
yeah, Jason Blum is the Mr. Crab of like film executives. Just makes like dirt cheap fucking shit and it makes money, yeah.
I like money.
Hello, I like money anyway.
Even to get one hit a year, that hit's enough to pay for their entire years of production. And they all can then sell those films to streaming services and make more profit from that. Then there's Roger Corman, the famous film producer. He made hundreds of films and he claimed to have only lost money on one over the course of hundreds. And he made them by being as cheap as possible.
Yeah,
he would take McDonald's containers.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure his mommy tells him that every night when she tucks him in. Yeah, sure.
Hey man, Corman's a legend.
I don't give a shit, man. He's an idiot.
Jeez, didn't know Backseater had a Roger Corman rivalry going.
I mean, he kind of is. He made that like piece of shit like Aladdin time traveling movie or whatever the fuck it was. So ass.
Yeah, he produces a lot of stuff.
He
The
makes
old
so much
styrofoam ones used to
crap.
have. Paint them with spray paint and say, oh, here's a metal wall. Let's plaster it on the wall. There's your metal hall. Let's fill a whole hallway with them. There's your sci-fi space room. You can never tell that he made them out of styrofoam and cheapness. They look like, in the camera, they look like metal. They're lit to look about right.
Yeah,
Any
because the
scenes in
camera
production
quality's
hidden
poor
behind.
back in the day, so he could take advantage of that. With like better cameras that can have better film quality, he can't do that anymore. If he came out and did that shit, everyone would laugh their asses off at him. They'd be like, "What is this Sci-Fi Channel set design?" Basically.
I'd watch it. It's part of the charm of horror.
I don't give a shit, man. I don't give a shit, man. If you wanted me to like, if you like, just film in a fucking metal room, then by that point, then anyway.
Rent out a crate for the day.
Yeah, pretty much. Anyway.
Dark lighting. You know, it's funny. James Cameron, who became James Cameron, used to work for Corman, and he took the skills he learned from Corman and applied it to Terminator and Aliens, and then later on Titanic and Avatar. Jaws itself, the film that kickstarted this trend, was in effect a horror film
shit ton of
with
Hollywood
effects that
people
didn't
are
work.
tied to Roger Corman. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they always credit him, and you know he's like a mentor to a ton of them.
because of the cheapness of it all. For Jaws, one of the big films of the 70s that was a massive hit, was another horror film, The Exorcist. Against its $11 million budget, it grossed $430 million worldwide. When adjusted for inflation, The Exorcist is one of the highest grossing R-rated films of all time, and thus one of the most profitable films of all time. Let's take this lesson and apply it to our modern filmmaking landscape.
Oh boy,
The last
here we
several
go.
MCU and DC films have grossed inconsistently, with the meme being with every release, Marvel Studios is either fallen off or it's back in business, baby. In the post-COVID landscape, these films
Still
have
falling
either
off.
been the biggest hits.
Wait, but that's like the meme that you're made fun of with. You guys all
Right.
denied it for the fucking longest time. Like, how
Yeah.
many times does the MCU have to die? And it's like, that's the whole point. It's been dead.
Oh yeah. Also, everyone who used to make fun of me for like having loud ass music play while I made these is not allowed to fucking make that complaint when Ant is playing as loud, if not louder, music in his shit. Like seriously, I can barely hear myself talking over this shit. For fuck's sake. Aye.
And write your music down, bro.
Yeah, Ant.
Of their years, or the biggest flops of their years. Some films like Spider-Man No Way Home, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did
No.
extremely well at the
No,
box
they
office.
didn't.
While
Shut the
others,
fuck up.
Oh, he's only comparing to the first film. Yeah,
Uh,
all the Marvel films rose because they were part of the MCU, which again was a rising tide lifting all boats. Now it's become the sinking boat that's dragging everything down with it.
right.
Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, boy, it barely made more than even the first
Ah,
one.
yeah.
It was made like years and years later.
No, John, that's Ant-Man and the Wasp right there.
Oh, and the Wasp. Well, yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, I see. I see. He just put the subtitle up there. I
Yeah.
see. Oh, and that was the only one that he put outside of the box because the boxes were too tiny to fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Black Panther went way down. Oh, I see. It dragged itself up to there eventually. Yeah, and Love and Thunder was basically even, but I believe it had a bigger opening, so it didn't have as good of legs. And then, yeah, Doctor Strange. What's that? Far From Home. No Way. Well, yeah, No Way Home. That's the one that fucking proves the whole thing wrong, although it was largely on nostalgia too.
Right.
didn't, like the Marvels. But a lot of audiences will point to the disappointing week-to-week gross of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania as the point where the MCU really fell off, using box office metrics
Fell off
to
prior.
demonstrate.
Yeah, it fell off prior. That was just the first one where I think it was like really undeniably post COVID. So that was whenever that excuse like started to ring hollow because they were still trying to use the COVID excuse in 22 and people weren't really believing it, but they still kept going with it. And then this is where they had to finally admit just, oh fuck, yeah, we're not what we used to be.
Yeah.
Um and it had a shit ton more budget than the first Ant-Man movie. So, you know, you can't even compare their if their grosses are close at all, that's not good.
Like not even funny,
real
man. Yeah.
time the lack of enthusiasm people had
69.
for this film.
Fire!
It was bad word of mouth. People just
Don't you dare use a Dragon Ball Z abridged clip, you dick.
Yeah, fuck
Generally
you,
didn't-
Ant.
like it, and a lot of people point to that as the turning point of the 2020s. I, however, instead point to streaming. With more options for audiences to
Of
experience
course.
films, audiences will opt to watch big budget movies in more affordable ways. Ticket prices are pricier than ever, and superhero
People have complained about movie ticket prices well before the box offices fell off. People always list this as they list all these things that were around way before COVID, way before streaming, and they go like, "Oh, for these reasons, people aren't going to theaters now." It's like, dude, whenever I was a kid, people complained about, "Oh, the movie ticket prices are so expensive and the popcorn is so expensive." and there's loud people, and there's it's like these have all been around for decades and decades. It
Right,
was when the
yeah.
movies started sucking that people stopped putting up with them, and they were like, well, fuck it. And they shortened the fucking release windows by a
Fuck
ton.
it!
So
We'll dump it on streaming, like Bill
yeah.
O'Reilly. Like, fuck it! We'll dump it on streaming. Yeah.
Like, I just love whenever people take like not a standard. What am I thinking of? A known quantity, and they act like it's this new revolutionary thing. Like, now people think tickets are too expensive. It's like people have thought that for fucking ever.
Yeah, breaking news. People think like water is wet.
Films
Yeah.
that underperformed at the box office tend to shoot to the top of streaming charts once they're made available
wow.
on services that
Nielsen ratings. All right, what do we got here? American Assassin. Okay. Orion and the Dog. So a lot of these are on Netflix because that's just the most popular streaming platform. Made in Italy, apparently debuted on the Fox one and Netflix, which is odd. Yeah, so Disney has two of them, and I'm oh wow. So and they measure them in millions of minutes. So nobody fucking saw this at the box office. Now, this number doesn't matter though. I always hate whenever streamers try and use this and say something is successful. The only reason, the only way a movie makes you money as a streamer is if somebody's either keeping their subscription because of it, or if they're buying a new subscription because of it, because the only way you're making money is through your subscriptions, and now a little bit from ads, but usually people are on the ad-free tier or whatever. So uh yeah, did anybody subscribe? Was there a big bump in subscribers? This always happens with fucking Game Pass too. They're like 7 million people played this game. It's like, okay, what if all of them hated it? What if they played it for 5 minutes and they deleted it because they didn't want to play anymore? Like, you need to give more substantial numbers than that.
Yeah.
people already are subscribed to. Take Captain America Brave New World. The film grossed a mere $415 million worldwide. Now, by comparison, the first Captain America film, all the way back in 2011, that brought in $370.5 million. The second, $714 million, and the third, Civil War, a staggering $1.1 billion. However, when Brave New World was released on Disney Plus, it shot to the top of views on the service.
Yeah.
A lot of people were just waiting to see
The
it.
newest thing is always going to shoot to the top of the view. Do you think a new movie is going to come out and people are going to suddenly watch the 1950 something animated Lady and the Tramp more than the new movie that just came out? Like, even if I fucking hate a movie and I would never subscribe to a service for it, I'm going to watch it when it comes out on the streaming service more likely than some old one. And especially society at large, they're not going to suddenly decide to have something else individually compete with it.
Yeah. Fucking
Obviously.
ridiculous, man.
It's like when people say it's the #1 movie in the world. It's like, yeah, it's the only one that premiered this week.
Yeah. Oh, that face is going on the thumbnail right there. Like,
When Ant saw the Superman final box office numbers,
he's like,
oh shit,
he's
I
like,
gotta make a video and act like this is successful.
he's like, big number, good. Yeah. Anyway.
For cheap. According to Nielsen's tracking data, Brave New World was streamed for 750 million minutes in its first week on Disney Plus, making it one of the most watched films of 2025 on Disney Plus. Audiences did not want to leave
Disney
their
Plus.
Of 2025 on Disney Plus. This is what I'm talking about with narrowing the goalposts.
Yeah.
It was the highest grossing film, or it was the most watched film of this particular year, which is only half over whenever this video was made, I think. And then on our particular platform.
Yeah. During this moon phase, like at this specific like hour, yeah.
Which starred a black actor as the lead.
There are a black actor as the lead and had a humongous red man as the antagonist, yeah.
Remember, kids, red man bad, or any
Yeah.
other shade of similar hues.
Yeah, anyway, next.
to watch Brave New World, but they did have an interest in watching it
Oh,
at
I forgot.
some point.
I've never seen this in actual quality because I don't know. The copy that I saw wasn't on Disney Plus, and it was very low quality for some reason. But wow, those special effects look even worse than the official version.
Yeah.
Wanted to see it, but they did not want to pay money to see it in the theater.
Okay, just
And
pirate
there
it
is the
then.
big issue.
It's like seriously, like if they don't, like it's like okay, so they don't want to pay money in the theater, but they will pay money for the fucking streaming service. It's like, dude, if people just don't want to pay money, they'll fucking like do illicit means to avoid paying money. I do that shit so fucking much. If there's some shit that I like really want to see, I'm not gonna pay money. I'm gonna go onto a pirate website, download the fucking torrents, and then watch them on my computer for free. It's that fucking simple.
I'm not even gonna concede that people wanted to see it. A lot of times, if you're subscribed to some shit, you just whatever pops up on there, you'll watch it just because it's the new thing. Doesn't mean you liked it. Doesn't mean you ever would pay for your subscription for that.
Right.
It's just like, oh, hey, this is just released on Netflix, and I already have Netflix, so I'll check it out, I guess. And then you can like watch it for her, even if you just have it on in the background while you're doing chores or something. They're going to count it as the watch hours. So
Yeah.
this is a shit metric by every
Yeah,
means. Doesn't
it's
measure
like
interest or desire to pay for that.
yeah, like by that logic, the George Lopez show was the fucking highest grossing show on Nickelodeon because tons of kids and parents fell asleep watching iCarly and then that came on, yeah.
And Gangnam Style is that should be on a streaming service. It would be the most profitable thing ever.
Yeah. Anyway.
If we looked purely at box office numbers, we'd completely misjudge viewer interest in this franchise, and therefore, from a business perspective, profitable potential from this franchise. But I want to draw attention to one thing.
You can't fail at the box office and then say, oh, but look how many people watched it on our streaming service. We have great profitable potential, guys. If I'm an investor and I hear that bullshit, I'm just like, okay, so you're saying the next one will make a lot at the box office or get us new subscribers? Oh, well, it might get more watch minutes. I'll be like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, this is like that fucking argument that they made like when Breaking Bad first became like really popular. It's like, oh, it didn't do well on TV, but it did amazingly well on Netflix. Yeah.
Important thing, the budget. Brave New World had a budget of $180 million. This is a significant factor because this makes it the first of a number of MCU films to have dramatically lowered their budgets.
That little.
To give you an idea, The Marvels, which lost Disney a ton of money, it grossed $206 million worldwide against a budget of $374 million.
Oh, and what was the initially reported budget? I wonder if he's going to reveal that because that number came out later in one of those tax documents. They had said
Yeah.
that the budget was 200 million, which it still wouldn't have been profitable at, obviously, but
Though in fairness, thanks to tax breaks, Disney saved a little bit of money. They only end up spending a net budget of $307.3 million. But even then, this makes it one of the biggest losses of Disney's history, even compared to The Lone Ranger and John Carter, which were two of the biggest flops historically previously. The big lesson here, though, budgets. Get them lower. Learn from John Carpenter in the 70s. Less money
that's a
spent
little
in
bit harder to do when you've got fucking cosmic powers and CGI and shit.
Yeah, pretty
films,
much.
higher profit potential. And that way, when you don't score $1 billion at the box office, it's not a disaster, is it? But wait, we're not done yet, because a similar fate
Captain
befell
Obvious.
DC's The Flash, a film that had a massive budget and
God, how many
minimal box
examples
office
do you have to give?
success.
We understand
However,
He needs
unlike
to
the
give
Marvels or Captain America:
every
Brave New World,
example.
when it came to streaming, people did also see The Flash and downright hated it. You see, the thing with The Marvels is a lot of people online, when they saw it, were like, oh, this film's not so bad. It kind of
No,
like
shut
that
the
movie,
fuck
you
up,
idiot.
you damn shill. No.
enjoyed, actually. Sure, some people hated it, but it was more mixed when it came out on streaming because people actually watched it.
Mixed.
Same with Brave New World.
My God, because people actually watched it. Hey, I watched it on my phone. It was shit.
Yeah.
With The Flash,
I haven't heard a single person actually fucking try to defend the Marvels in forever. That's a bit of shell shock.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, you're actually trying to frame this as any sort of success in quality or watching?
Yes, really.
Flash is universally hated by almost everyone who's seen
So
it.
is the
It's
Marvels.
a catastrophic failure. And yeah, the effects in all these films isn't great, but the Flash's effects are downright terrible. Like,
So are the
Jesus. So we should just stop using CGI to make babies. Like, these babies are terrifying. And the whole George Reeves scene where they make CGI models of their face with Nicolas Cage and all that.
You can tell what a fake person he is. His face like never changes, whether he's trying to be funny here, but his face isn't any different from whenever he's making a serious box office argument. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, just try to actually speak honestly or with some emotion
Like,
on
be
something.
human, Ant, please.
I think he's just an AI. I think he's been fighting an AI this whole time, Backseater.
That would explain a lot. Explain all the bots. Yeah.
Like, what's her face? Disney was just like, all right, let's make a chivalry actor who like pretends to be a nerd and try overly complicated explanations on really simple subjects.
Right.
Go.
Yeah.
With Adam West, it's just bizarre choices made. A lot of expensive choices.
I gotta get a couple Gatorade here, so I'm gonna leave it playing for a minute.
Yeah. All right.
Choices that ultimately turned audiences off of the film rather than turned them onto it.
Yeah, because
except I kind of just lied to you right now.
What?
Completely, right to your face.
Oh,
because in
this will be
actuality,
good.
The
John!
Flash, despite being one of the
He's
most
lying!
widely criticized superhero films among comic book fans,
John, he just admitted he's lying. Like, go back like 30 seconds. Ugh, what the hell is this
Leanne.
one? Yeah.
He's like doing a sexy dance. He's like, you like this? You like what you see, baby?
No, it's like, begone, demon. Anyway.
Of choices that ultimately turned audiences off of the film rather than turned them onto it. Except I kind of just lied to you right now. Completely, right to your face. Because in actuality, The Flash, despite being one of the most widely criticized superhero films among comic book fans, actually has almost the same IMDb, Letterboxd, and
Rotten Tomatoes, they fucking try to delegitimize anybody who gives anything a low score now.
Yeah.
And these are extremely limited numbers that are highly susceptible to bots anyway, so yeah.
Yeah.
Like the average person is not giving this a 7 out of 10, I hate to tell you.
7 out of 10,
Certainly
pretty
there's-
good film,
There's many
yeah.
people giving it an 8 as a 6, the fucking Flash, come on.
No.
And more people giving it a 10 than a 1. It's because they try to delegitimize all the ones. These are probably all genuine. These are the fucking bot ones.
Yeah.
Tomato audience score as the other films I already mentioned. In fact, even Madam Web, which is widely regarded as one of the worst superhero films of the last 5 years, got a massive reception on Netflix when it debuted on the platform.
Bro, people probably just wanted to either see Sydney Sweeney, which don't bother, she doesn't show any cleavage in the movie.
Yeah.
Or they were fucking watching it as a gag. I know a lot of people that, including myself, I'll watch movies that have a horrible reputation just to laugh at them. Like,
Yeah, I mean, John's legit done that like a ton of times on his channel, yeah.
they're entertaining after you reach a certain cliff of quality. It is fun just to laugh at people and creators for they make something so shit. Like it doesn't mean that anybody's excited to see it or again would pay any sort of money to a streamer to see it.
Right.
Madam Web debuted on Netflix. That's why it beat Deadpool and Wolverine. So this article is a fucking dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
Molly Edwards. Sorry to tell you.
Fucking Molly, yeah.
You related to Molly Damon. That's not how names work, but I don't care.
I don't care, man. Yeah.
Which means even the films that we commonly criticize as being among the worst still find an audience that watches it. They just aren't vocal
not
online.
for the reasons you think so.
I've watched Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm not gonna financially ever support a movie like that, but it was fucking stupid
Mm-hmm.
and like hilarious in its own way. Like,
Yeah. And
come
like
on.
I swear to God, Ant and his dick lickers have no idea what the hell bile fascination is.
I think he just doesn't understand like a guilty pleasure or just like yeah, wanting to laugh at something. He assumes that everybody goes into every movie with like a notepad as like a fucking Roger Ebert. They're just like, let us see what the film world has to offer me today. I'm
Yeah,
expecting the best.
yeah.
It's
Even though Roger Ebert was probably closer to us than Ant, yeah.
like, I hated this movie. Hated,
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 hated, hated,
hated.
hated, hated, hated this movie. Yeah.
Have you ever
Oh,
seen? Oh man, I have a funny. Oh, I'll see if I can find it.
all
There's a
right.
fucking parody video of Siskel and Ebert.
All right, we'll look it up later, John, as like a bonus.
Both the Marvels and The Flash failed, but neither marked the end of Marvel or DC as a whole series, a franchise, but rather it marked a
Duh.
Yeah,
transition
no
era,
duh.
something we saw that was similar.
No, it just marked failures in their franchise. Not every
Yeah.
franchise stopped after one failure. It was a failure.
Yeah, it's like, well, I will hang on, John. Like, I would say that yes, some franchises do end after one failure, but it's usually because they're so small that they can't recover, right? It's
Yeah, a
like, or
massive ship like the MCU
yeah,
ain't gonna do that.
yeah, it's like like with the MCU, you're gonna need like multiple failures, like constant, like what the hell's the word? Fucking in or consecutively to like really bring it down. Yeah. Anyway.
To when the first Iron Man came out. It was not the end of the Western, but the end of an era. And that's important to distinct. See, what people don't remember that is that prior to the first Avengers film, superhero films were in a similar state as they are now. There were several high-profile films that were successful, that were good, that are iconic with iconic characters, but most didn't do too well. The Dark Knight and Iron Man were both major hits, but as we said before, Batman Begins wasn't. And that's not even getting to films like Jonah Hex, The Green Lantern, The Rise of the Silver Surfer, Elektra. Yeah, less about those the better, probably. They
Yeah.
weren't the big hits that we're seeing today. 2011's Thor had a budget of $150 million and grossed $448 million. It's a modest success, but not a runaway hit. No Thor film has ever grossed $1 billion, but over time, the character built popularity with audiences. When Thor Love and Thunder disappointed general audiences, it still turned a substantial profit because of faith from the audience, but it also damaged that word of mouth moving forward for the MCU due to the film's lower quality. Low box office can sometimes be healthy for a franchise if it helps restore faith in what is to come.
That's so
but a successful
retarded,
film, like
man.
Thor Love and Thunder,
I swear to God, it's like, hey, less money is a good thing. It's like you're a fucking communist if you believe that, Ant. I swear to God. Uh,
can hurt a franchise if it leaves a lot of people went out to see it with less faith in projects moving forward. To specifically look only at numbers is to miss a lot of the big picture. A lot of the box office subreddit people look, for example, for cinema scores, seeing how people feel when leaving the theater. A low score usually indicates that audiences are not going to recommend this film to their friends or want to see more of this IP moving forward. It takes years to build faith in an audience, which is why the Fantastic Four and Superman, I feel, are new films to help establish a more stable trajectory to come.
no.
I think the Thunderbolts, though a box office disappointment, did a lot to build better word of mouth moving
No,
forward.
it
Without the
did
Thunderbolts, audiences might
not.
still be very
Oh my God.
Oh my.
I guess like just keep peddling that hopium, Ant. That's honestly what Ant is doing at this point. He's just peddling hopium for the MCU, basically.
Call it hope and cope.
Hope and
Ant's Hope and Cope
his
session.
this is Ant's Hope and Cope session, yeah.
He's like, nothing is ever really a failure. He's like Star Wars with the no one's ever really gone, except he's just like, nothing's ever really a box office flop.
Yeah, pretty much.
As long as some idiot watches it on Netflix later, that means it really made $1 billion. You should talk
Yeah.
to Zack Snyder about this. He basically said the same thing. He's like, oh, Rebel Moon, it basically, if you look at how many people viewed it, it made as much at the box office as Barbie.
It's
It's like, dude, that's not the
not
same.
how it works, yeah.
Cynical following the other's failures, and may not have been as receptive to these films. If you look at the films that have succeeded in the last 5 years, all of them are IP driven.
You know how you could actually fix this? Is have, instead of your subscription being for just everything on a service, you would get to watch a certain amount of movies or TV shows each month. And then people would have to actually be choosy. And they'd be like, well, I don't want to use one of my 10 movie watches on this shit. It looks like shit.
Yeah.
And then it would be like more merit based, like it used to be with just the box office.
Right.
Because when you throw everything in a lump, it's really hard to tell like what people are actually paying for.
Mm-hmm.
But often they're the first entries of a new IP. Barbie, Minecraft, Super Mario Brothers movie. They're new enough that audiences haven't seen them time and time again recently.
Bro,
and are
those
thus
are
more
based
willing to
off of
spend
video
money
games
on
that have been
something.
around for a long ass time, you fucktard.
So that Mario movie was clearly a sequel to the 1993 movie.
Yeah, apparently. According to Ant here, yeah.
And they perceive to be different. They are a risk for studios, but they're a calculated risk. But what happens if you put a lot of money into a
Not new
film
IP.
series that exists, that's an IP, but the money you put in is way too much for the project it's going to be? It's illogical. Because you know you're not going to make money
Highly
back. June 11,
illogical.
1982, 3 sci-fi films come out. E.T., Blade Runner, and The Thing. Now, all are classics, but only one, E.T., was a financial hit. One of the most successful films of all time. But Blade Runner and The Thing underperformed dramatically. The Thing grossed $20.8 million against a budget of $15 million, while Blade Runner, on a budget of $30 million, grossed $41.7 million. By the metrics we included, the 2.5 multiplier, both flopped at the box office, but have since been regarded as some of the greatest sci-fi films
there's
of the
fucking
decade.
Cult classics that get popular later. Like I've watched the Terror Express or whatever, and it's like they came out with these massive Blu-rays of shit that like just because it'll have a famous old actor in it or something, and it's like not a successful film in and of itself. Now you're gonna explain cult classics for the next 20 minutes.
Probably. He's gonna explain the concept of vindicated by history, yeah.
Just like The Last Jedi will be in like 2 years.
Yeah, no.
We all said 10 years from now, everybody's gonna love it.
Yeah, we'll see.
They have a massive audience thanks entirely to the video market, and both received follow-ups that cost more money,
Obviously,
and both didn't do so
bro. Follow up to Blade Runner was made like decades later. Of course, it cost more money.
Mm-hmm.
great. I feel the 2011 Thing prequel had a far more manageable budget. It pulled in $31.5 million against a budget of $38 million. It was a flop, but not a catastrophic one. That movie had some financial problems, due in part to them covering up all their incredible practical effects with CGI garbage, all in the vain hope that CGI would appeal more to a modern audience. Ironically, what they actually did was alienate the original fans by hiding incredible practical effects, and they all looked fake and it was artificial, and bad word of mouth killed this prequel before it had a chance. Blade Runner 2049.
If you want to make a fucking video essay about the Thing remake, then make a fucking video essay about the Thing remake, and you always throw all this random shit into these video essays that have nothing to do with it.
Again, I'm telling you, Ant's videos are like a turducken dish. He just throws all the shit in there because he really wants to make a video about that, but he knows that that won't do well, so he has to sandwich them in like these other videos he makes.
It's like it's like just a stream of consciousness is like how he writes his scripts. He's it's like everything he thinks of, he just instantly starts writing it down.
He's the
And then like when he
James.
goes to actually make
He's
the video, he's just like, oh yeah, Blade Runner. Oh,
he's the James Joyce of video essayists, yeah. And also, it's like about his point. It's like, oh, they hated it because like they made it like oh like CGI's and practical effects. It's like, dude, my guy, it's like audience like standards by that point expected CGI. I don't know what to fucking tell ya. Uh,
well, it usually looks better just do one or the other. Just
yeah,
'cause then you end up paying for both and still getting just the look of if you just did CGI. Because
yeah.
it's like they always do that with those Jurassic movies too. They were like, look, we made animatronic dinosaurs again, and then they just put CGI over top of them. It's like, why are you spending money twice, dumbasses?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, even yeah, my point is that overall is that like just audience expectations and the technology just got better, so you'd be stupid to use like to like not use CGI. That's my point. But anyway, yeah.
Disagree with you on that, but all right. I think practical looks better a lot of times,
I
but
mean, I'm just saying, Ant. I guarantee you, if they release that, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, John. I called you Ant. Fuck, I'm getting really tired. Fuck. Like, anyways, no. What I'm saying is that if they did, I guarantee you, if they released that movie with practical effects, audiences would have fucking complained. Because it's like, it's like you can't like it's like the Hulk. You can't just find a muscle man, paint him green, and call it a day. It's like you need to use fucking CGI at this point now. There's no reason not to. Anyway.
except it looks worse. But
is regarded as one of the better sci-fi films
Not
of the
with all.
2010s, thanks in no small part to its director, Denis Villeneuve. The film cost $150 million and only took in a worldwide gross of $277.9 million. Again, by our metric, it needed closer to $350 to profit. It was a flop. But it's also a great film,
This is
one that
literally
helped
just him going
Denis
through
get
example,
bigger and
example,
bigger work
example.
later
This is
on,
profitable, this is
including
not.
Dune. Now, film studios assumed
was
that
that,
because Blade
John?
Runner and The Thing had a built-in audience, that they could afford to put money into what followed them up. But in both cases, they found that audiences were much smaller than anticipated. Yet despite the flop of Blade Runner 2049, a follow-up is being made right now, Blade Runner 2099. And it's being made for streaming. Amazon Prime, specifically.
Yeah, because
I bet you didn't know it was
2049
being made.
flopped. That's
And
why.
Amazon can pay for whatever the fuck they want because, like, the movies'
They're
budgets are such
Amazon, yeah.
small potatoes to them. And Apple, it's like, yeah, they could make like 10 more sequels and not even notice it on their accounting books.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to subscribe to their service because it's tied in with their shipping. So you don't even need to make anything that's liked at all on the streaming side. You would still probably have just as many subscribers, or a very minuscule amount would drop off if you entirely stopped making anything.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, no one's really talking about it. But the case is,
There's
2
been no
flops
trailer or
means we get
anything
another
yet.
film. And by the way, this is ignoring the anime spin-offs and the video game spin-offs and all that. Despite none of these films making their studios a dime, we keep getting more of them. And granted, Blade Runner is amazing. We get more good Blade Runner, I'm happy about that. But its continued
Blade Runner took,
existence...
like 4 fucking decades to make a sequel. It's not like they were catering to the cult crowd with some of that spin-off material, but it's not like they were pumping out movies and they just kept losing money on them. They were like, this wasn't profitable. They left it dormant. It gained a lot of, audience. Yeah. So I don't know.
breaks the logic that we as film fans understand. If a film franchise doesn't make money, it dies. So why is this not making money and continuing to thrive? Well, simply put,
Thriving.
success can sometimes take multiple forms. If it draws
just doesn't know the concept of like studios like forcefully trying to make these things happen, which is why they refuse to just like take their L and let their pet projects die. Apparently.
Yeah, I can guarantee you Rings of Power ain't getting a return on investment.
Yeah,
And they're still pumping out a 3rd season of that eventually.
Yeah.
you into a streaming service and you pay a subscription to that service to keep watching something new, that profits someone. A lot of movies that were flops at the box office would later become hits on video. And granted, the physical media market has kind of dried up, but streamers still want
Turns out.
content to draw people in, to keep you
Star Wars
subscribed. Does it always
content.
work? No. Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power was one of the most expensive TV shows ever made,
Speak of the
and
devil.
season to season, there's been a drop off in attention. The
I
initial
wonder
novelty
why.
could not hold casual audiences' attention.
It also didn't hold a lot of hardcore ones because it pissed them all off.
Yeah. Oh, but they're
Especially given
just
the fact-
toxic fans.
That the show itself was of questionable, inconsistent quality.
Yeah,
I don't
there
think
he goes again,
inconsistent.
It was
That's a
almost
new
universally
one.
shit on.
Yeah.
it's as terrible as people say it is, but I think that first season is rough, and while it does find its
Rough.
footing more in season 2,
No, it doesn't.
finding its footing is not the same thing as it being good. There's a lot of competition
Will
right
you
now.
just shit on something for once, like
No. Nope, you gotta
other
stay
than a
positive.
Republican. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Jesus
It's
H.
like he just
Lucas.
bases how mean he is to someone entirely off their political ideology.
Right.
It's just like, well, I know these people are on my side, so I'm not going to be too mean to them.
Yeah, and keep
Now,
in mind,
for
keep in mind, I've heard Ant describe himself as like a guy who, like, yeah, he admits he's a liberal, but he tries to be more fair. It's like, with shit like this, no, you're not. You're not being fair with this crap, bro. No, no.
If this
Ugh.
were a Gina Carano TV series and it got those same exact ratings, he'd just be like, it was not the most successful.
Yeah.
Anyway. Like,
film, with streaming, with small media like TikTok. Hell, YouTube is competing with TikTok. My video right now is competing with short form content.
Yeah, no
and
shit.
nowhere is the competition between long.
yeah, but you're competing like Kyle Lowry competing with Michael Jordan or something. And it's not really relevant, and they probably aren't thinking of you at all.
Yeah. Fucking hell,
It's
and
like,
you
we're rivals. They're like, who are you?
Yeah, and you should be absolutely lucky that I'm your fucking arch enemy, I swear to God. Because you ain't fucking. It's like you ain't getting anyone else's attention. You got EFAPs once, but EFAP don't care about you, bro.
Yeah, I think that was during another anniversary special that they ended up covering one of his.
Yeah, they covered his, like, YouTube critics are lying to you one, yeah.
Yeah.
Long form
Anyway,
content.
And then they called him media illiterate, which was pretty funny.
Well, because he is media illiterate, yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny because it's a term that he probably uses all the fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
And short form content more clear than in China. You see, for a while in the
China.
2010s, China was a growing market, a vital place to market films in order to take advantage of their massive population. Disney especially invested heavily in the Chinese market, creating multiple theme parks to help market their brand to the Chinese. However, nowadays,
China
films that
makes
get
their own
sent to
film.
China, if any do, don't perform as well as they used to. Superman, for example, is flopping hard in China. So a lot of people have concluded that the Chinese market just wants Chinese films. If you look at box office charts, the highest grossing film this year is not Lilo and Stitch. It's Ne Zha 2, a Chinese animated film which managed to gross almost $2 billion this year. And the year is only halfway through. However, when you look at the Chinese market for 2025, Ne Zha 2 is, which I'm not pronouncing by the way, Chinese audiences bully me for how badly I pronounced that.
Neja.
Its situation is
Oh, it's
unique.
okay for foreigners
Arguably,
to bully
the
you.
second most popular film in the Chinese market for 2025 was the last Mission Impossible film. And there's a huge margin between the Chinese hit and Mission Impossible. 2024, the box office for China fell 23% year over year, which itself was down 14.5% from pre-pandemic numbers. And some have theorized that Chinese audiences are hesitant to go to the theater after the pandemic. Others think it's national pride, rejecting the American cinema in favor of Chinese cinema, but
Good,
that doesn't
I don't
count for
want
how low the
fucking
box
American
office is
films
generally. A
in
lot of Chinese
China
films come out year to
either.
year.
Yeah, at this point, I'd rather fucking Korean and Japanese films infect us rather than the other way around.
Yeah, fuck.
American films are too damn messed up. Until we get a full regime replacement in Hollywood, that is.
Yeah, we need it ASAP anyway.
I think what's more likely, and a lot of people agree with me, Chinese audiences prefer short form content over long form content. This is nowhere more obvious than with a ton of short form content made in China. Tons of films made for vertical screens and all
Oh,
that,
that
broken up into
reminds me.
chapters
Ant has
that
a
you can watch on your
TikTok
phone.
account, but he fucking abandoned it because he wasn't getting any fucking views on it.
Come on, Ant, stick with it a
Come
little
on,
bit.
Ant, stick with, Ant, give up YouTube and just go on TikTok, please. You really need the fucking time limits imposed on you.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
that's probably why.
that
That's
would,
probably why he doesn't do it. He's
yeah,
like, oh, it's just
probably.
so stifling. I can't go on 20-minute tangents about something that has nothing to do with my movie.
Yeah.
Chinese box office is no longer an indication of health for cinema because they're not looking at the movie theaters anymore. They're on their phones. Why go pay money for a ticket?
You just said that a movie made $2 billion there.
Really
Or
shot yourself in the
worldwide, but the vast majority in China.
just shot yourself in the foot there.
If one movie can do it, then another can, if it's well liked.
Yes.
When your phone has 1,500 films you can watch in short chunks.
We have phones
Add to
too.
that the idea of the event film, something that is so unique and
You know
special.
what else
have
has
to see it in
1,500
theaters.
films on it? The pirated internet. Anyway.
That doesn't always translate overseas, but it does translate in America. And a great example of that is the Barbenheimer trend.
Oh,
Two
boy.
films that are drastically different, released on the same day. It's the kind of thing that can only happen on social media. Two drastically different films organically being first pitted together before being aligned together, creating a fascinating double feature of two vastly different films. And its success is the kind of oddity that can only happen by accident, because studios have been trying to recreate it and nothing fans out. They can't recapture lightning in a bottle with this strange double feature.
Yeah, because thankfully
Although I would
everyone
say
realized how
Superman
retarded
is fantastic.
it was, and they're not gonna do it anymore. Thank fuck. Seriously, if you found that trend, you're a fucking retard. I swear to God. Anyway.
For two fairly similar films happen to having a kind of conjoined cross promotion of sorts. It's noteworthy that Thunderbolts and Thor have both roughly the same domestic box office, but international box office for Thunderbolts lags behind Thor. I'm talking about 2011 Thor specifically. Each film industry is facing its own hurdles, and that's resulting in a generally
Ant's
lower
playing the
box
sad
office
music
across
he
the...
uses in all his videos. Here we fucking go.
That's where he blames Orange Man for international box office.
Probably. He always plays this sad music in his fucking videos when something sad's about to be said. Here we go, boys.
board. So, what's the point with all this?
Good
Box office
fucking
that-
question.
When I watch your videos, I find myself asking that question
Yeah.
a lot.
Oh my god, let's keep
Down.
doing this. I'm so fucking tired. I'm
Overall,
about
across
to
the
crash
entire
out.
world, it could be a pretty important metric. But audiences have to remember it's never the full picture of why some films do or don't succeed. Streaming, physical media, merchandise, there are other factors at play here that we need to consider before determining if a film is profitable. It's important to never let discussions of these numbers eclipse what matters: the art. People get so caught up in statistics and thinking how they know everything. Remember I mentioned The Flash and the Marvels? While The Flash became a discussion surrounding the film's negative quality, the Marvels discussion was about the money it did or didn't make.
Well, no, it was the bottom falling out because of the consistent lack of quality in the franchise.
Yeah, plus
People were shitting on it, trust me.
yeah, yeah, it's like there were people crapping on the Marvels for its plot and other shit like that.
Like, it generally didn't make a lot because of its bad reputation after anybody saw it.
Yeah.
Very few people actually talked about the quality of the film. They only talked about how it was a bomb, and they used it as a punching bag for this greater culture war against Disney. Very few people actually could discuss the film in detail.
Yeah, they made fun
why
of it
didn't appeal to
because it was
audiences.
crap. It was a bomb because of the quality, and
all the people that you're saying are just crapping on it, not discussing it in detail. They seem to have the most detailed reviews where they don't just say it was fun. It had this villain. She was really going for it.
She was bae, yeah.
Like the freaking chill people are always the most general and undetailed in their reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny whenever they say, "Oh, they don't really analyze film over there." It's like, dude, they make fucking 12-hour reviews. I think they get into a little bit of detail.
Yeah.
But there's a lesson to be learned that studios were listening to. Why didn't it succeed? Why did people not want to see this?
It was crap.
It could also have to do with the fact that the actors' strike was going on. The actors couldn't promote the film.
Oh.
But I digress. That's
Yes, I'm
No.
sure that Brie Larson being on some late night shows would have made it make hundreds of millions of dollars more.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, he's running. This is like some old excuses that people have given up on for the most part. And he's just
Yeah.
trudging them up.
Yeah, it's like well, they really needed like Sana Amanat being on the press tour. She really got down her comedic timing. Yeah. Oh my god.
nonsense. What are you talking about? Promoting a film affecting budget or profitability? That's nonsense. Recently, Variety sat
Well,
down with
save them
Kevin
some
Feige,
budget.
the main producer at Marvel Studios, to ask him where the direction of films were going in. And one thing he pointed to was lowering the budget of each film. The brands still have attention, but they need to reformulate how they do things. But also, film studios should listen to what fans want. What are we responding to? They want to see more films for kids.
They need to make the budget low enough that their die-hard audience that'll just accept whatever slop will be enough to make them profitable.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Kids, for example, as Lilo and Stitch indicated. They want to see
Dude,
more
no
adventurous films.
No kids are going to see these crap fests, you fucking idiot. No.
And they might get forced to by their parents is the only way.
Yeah, that's the only way. It's like, oh, actually, hang on. They are being made for kids, John, although not literal young kids. No, overgrown kids, if you catch my
Disney
drift.
adult kids.
Disney adults, yeah. Thank fuck I'm not one of those.
To take a stance with new IP like Mario or Minecraft. Yes, they are based.
Mario's not a new IP.
Mario's been around since the goddamn 80s, retard.
Can't count it as a new IP just because they haven't made a recent movie. Because again, Mario's even been made into a fucking movie before. But like, dude, come on, that's not how you use the phrase "new IP."
No.
IPs go across different forms of media. Like if there's a Mario song made tomorrow, it's not a new IP. It's just part of the Mario IP.
Yeah, it's part of the
Just 'cause
Mario
there hasn't been a
brand, yeah.
song.
Or like with
Other
me
than-
and Evan's show, I'm not going to spoil what it is, but the show we really want to green light, it's based off of something that's never had a TV show before, but just because we're the first to make it a TV show based off, it does not mean we are making a new IP.
Yeah.
An IP
Word.
that have been adapted before. Something new, something distinct. And there's nothing bad for film audiences if established IP have to reinvent themselves to keep people interested. Unfortunately, that also leaves a small wiggle room for a totally original IP. Which is why I want to highlight something right now. There are a lot of films made that do succeed based on good word of mouth. And a great example of that is John Wick. The first John Wick had a very low budget, yet garnered a huge success thanks to positive word of mouth. And that merited enough faith.
It was a
in the
good movie, but there's
franchise
one
to
part
make
about
a
John Wick
sequel
that really
than
confused
another.
me.
What, Evan?
So, John Wick's code name as an assassin, right?
Baba Yaga.
It's Baba Yaga. They claim it's the boogeyman in Russian, but in actuality, Baba Yaga is a Russian witch in the form of an old woman with droopy breasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually knew that because she was in a Tomb Raider DLC for one of those more recent games. You had to fight Baba Yaga when you were having some hallucination.
Yeah, she was also in Castlevania, so yeah.
Remember,
In,
she had a
Lords of
card
Shadow.
in Weird and Wild Creatures, but she was also mentioned in an episode of R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour. An episode
Watch
that
that.
specifically dealt with witches.
Witches.
Yep.
Then another.
And I'm not sure if that was
franchise or-
just the filmmakers failing to do their research, or them just looking at Russian folklore, seeing Baba Yaga and thinking, huh, close enough to a boogeyman.
I
Yeah.
think it just sounded like a cool phrase to say it was Boogeyman, so they were just like Baba Yaga. Like it's
like-
like just a cool
It's like
sound.
perfect. Anyway.
organically built up through positive word of mouth. It seems uncanny nowadays, but it can happen. Start with a realistic budget so that there's a minimal loss potentially, and build from there. And then listen to what fans were receptive to build from there to keep an audience engaged.
You're
Not to be
explaining like responding to the audience feedback. Yeah, this
I
is
think
another like
A24 does that with a lot of their movies.
it's just getting more and more basic though. It's like you should make movies that the audience you should make sequels to movies that the audience likes and adjust your budget to how much they're buying. It's like, yes, thank you. All right.
Thanks, Captain Obvious. Yeah.
Somebody calls him in for financial advice and he's just like, well, if you spend less than you make, then you will make money. And they're just like, yeah, I know that part, but like, how do I do that? Oh, hang on, I'll have to get back to you on that. You're getting pretty complicated on me here.
And is the worst
slavishly devoted to it.
economist.
He's like, you should buy stocks that are going to shoot up in price after you buy them. Which ones are those? Oh, I can't tell the future. I don't know.
And say, because again, that can happen. I mean, everyone wanted to see cameos in all these superhero films, and then we got The Flash, which had cameos galore, and everyone hated it. So you can't be too slavish, but you have to acknowledge what general audiences want to see. And not just fans, but general audiences, because it's not just the hardcore fans who showed up. If hardcore fans were enough to make a film successful, then we'd be getting 15 Dredd movies by now, because every one of them would have been a hit. But they are a lot of original movies that are very successful.
We already went
They're not
over this,
multi-$100 million films,
Oh my
but they
God.
make their budget back and then some. And one example I want to highlight are the
Another
films of
example.
Roger Eggers. Eggers has made some of the
Roger
best films, I think, of the
Eggers? Then why'd you
2010s,
put
starting
Robert
with
Eggers? Oh my god.
You're bringing this in at the fucking 42nd minute, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's just ad for you.
this is the thing you wanted to get to, and now you've left yourself no time to actually talk about him. Like, instead, you talked about incredibly basic shit that everybody knows. Oh, Roger Corman makes cheap films. Oh, wow, great. Yeah, we've all heard of fucking Roger Corman a million times.
The Witch, a fantastic
Witch.
historical horror film that cost a very little money to make and made a moderate-sized box office return.
Again, you can tell how much the Vavitch cost
The
because
bitch, yeah.
it takes place in one fucking farm and it's like 5 people talking and walking around the woods the whole movie. That's a really easy indicator to see budgets a lot of times, by the way, going all the way back. Like, if they're just walking around the woods for a good portion of the movie, it's because they didn't want to spend a lot of money, and that's really easy to do.
Bottle movies, yeah.
Well, the woods
A lot of
specifically, because then you don't have
movies,
to
a lot
pay to
of
film in
episodes of
cities.
TV shows.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Turn, but due to the low investment, was a
On the
hit.
subject,
It inspired
Robert
him to
Eggers'
make
next
bigger films
movie
and good word of mouth.
has a very similar title, except it's like werewolf, but instead of like an O, is a U in the wolf, like werewolf.
Yeah.
It's just like every movie
Like
with that's like
Saberwolf from Killer Instinct, yeah.
I think
All of
and
my
then there's
friends make fun of me because I'm like the only one in our friend group who actually played and enjoyed Killer Instinct.
What the hell? Killer Instinct's a good game. What the fuck?
the new one or like the classic
The
one.
new one, the new one.
I didn't really hear too much about that one after the initial.
It's
They
good.
announced it at like the launch of the Xbox
It's
One,
good.
and
It's
then
good, John. It's good,
hardly
especially
anybody got Xbox One, so it was always like not really talked about after that too much.
it's peak fire, bro. And I don't mean that like ironically, like it's literally peak fire, bro. Anyway.
Mouth allowed his name to become a bigger deal. The Lighthouse, The Northman, both fantastic films made with a little bit more money than previously. This culminated in him being able to direct Nosferatu,
big deal.
a film that was a success, that was a hit, that got Oscar nominations, that got horror fans excited.
Nobody cares about Oscars, but all right.
Yeah, sure.
Your little awards are just in an ever shrinking circle handing things to each other.
Yeah.
It's just like everybody was like, "Oh," because I said to Coy Jandro on one time on Instagram, I was like, because he was saying that that Supergirl was going to be based on Woman of Tomorrow?
Yeah.
And I forget the author of that, but I'm like, oh
Tom
man, I've only ever
King.
heard I've only ever heard bad things about that run. And he's like, oh, it won Peabody Award. It won blah, blah, blah award and Saturn Award. I'm just like, nobody gives a shit about the awards. People didn't seem to like it like the actual audience that they should care about.
Yeah, what he say? What he say in response, John? I don't think he
Oh, he
told us.
said that I was just a troll and he shouldn't have responded in the first
Oh,
place.
what a little bitch, man! Fucking soy boy Koi.
Giving a
Oh,
director
and then he
like this a
blocked me.
chance
Ah!
with a small project that builds. We need to have lower risk films to allow newer film creators and
Wow, I've never
auteurs
heard
a
that
chance to
take
come into the industry.
before. Literally,
Oh, this
I've
is the
heard this take from like Drinker and Mahler and Co.
it's like the easiest it's a really easy platitude to say, and it's like kind of just the most safe take ever, which is why like anybody on any side of every aisle is going to say it. They're like whenever all the big budget movies suck, it's always oh, but there's been some good indies. I'm like, yeah, because there's a million fucking indies. I should hope like one of them can be good. Like, people do the same thing with games, where like whenever there's a shitty year for games, they're just like, oh, but it's been a great year for indies. I'm like, it's been a similar year for indies as every other year. There's a shit ton that come out, and a few of them are really good.
Yeah.
Like, there's just by volume, there's going to be good indies every year. That's kind of a standard.
That's just how
That's a
they
pretty stable
work.
number.
Yeah.
And prove themselves, providing a new, fresh voice that can regain audience interests. We can't get the same thing over and over again, but we can tell a
As
similar
he shows
story
something completely
differently.
different.
One of the reasons I think Superman's such a hit is because it's so different from Man of Steel.
not
It's
a
a
hit.
new
Not
voice to a
really,
familiar.
Wait a
no.
minute, was it in the box office? Okay, so this was supposed to be about Superman, I thought. I just remembered.
Character. We need to reinvent our icons every few years
No,
to keep them from being
that's
stale,
how you
to keep them
piss
from being
people
familiar.
off. Fuck that shit, man. No. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think people would have liked the new Superman if it had just like, even though the classic movie did this storyline fairly well, if they'd have just done the traditional one. I mean, it's been 50 years. You can make a new version of like not a new version as in changing shit, but as in like, kind of give the same ideals and stuff as the classic Superman story, and make it for a new generation that's just updated with effects and shit, not just
Yeah.
like changing the story and the writing.
Yeah, it's like, dude,
Uh,
it's like I'm so sick of this argument. Like, we have to reinvent our icons every few years. It's like, well, then it's pretty much they're not the same anymore because you reinvented them, man.
Metal Gear Delta just came out. They pretty much just copy pasted the
Ye-
game, but they
Yeah.
updated the graphics and it's successful. So
Yeah, they changed.
can-
I know they changed. I think they only changed like one dialogue option, and that like one dialogue line, and that's it. That's all they changed in terms of plot.
To keep them
yeah.
from being something you can wait to see when it comes on streaming, you gotta be able to reinvent the wheel every so often, just as we're getting comfortable with it.
Do you even know why we have
Audiences-
the term "reinvent the wheel"? Because it literally can't be done.
Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
You always say don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. Like what?
Don't fix it if it ain't broke. You
Yeah.
ever hear about that?
Yeah. Don't try to jury rig shit, Ant. Yeah.
Like now you've broken it and you're like, oh geez, how do we fix this? It's like, well, you could just go back to the old design. It's like, no, that was bigoted. How do we fix it without doing that? It's like,
Yeah.
well, now I don't know what to tell you.
We gotta update designs every few years, man. Sticking to no.
Should not be
no
comfortable.
works,
We should be-
no. Oh, here
That
we go.
old movie, that old Superman movie didn't have any trans representation. How could you possibly like it?
Yeah.
engaged. And through engagement, we can have true success. And so the box office is not an indicator of what is and isn't working, what should be and should not be canceled, but rather a barometer as to what we're familiar with versus what excites us.
Okay, so what about Sinners? Did that not excite anybody? Because it made a lot at the box office compared to its budget, you said. So that just doesn't matter because the box office doesn't matter
No.
anymore.
No.
Well, it matters when things do well, but not when they don't do well.
Yeah. Fucking.
Holy credits.
You look
Steve.
lonely. I can fix that.
Fuck, man, that was fucking ass, man. I think this is legit one of Ant's worst videos. Because it had, like, a lot of, like, the dumb shit we couldn't expect. And not only that, it was fucking boring.
Like, he does a lot where it's just recapping shit, but at least in the other ones, I could laugh because he'd be recapping shit that, like I never read Ironheart, so at least when he's recapping that, I'm getting new information. This one, he
Yeah.
was just, like, saying super basic information down to, like, just how math works. Very basic math, like, if you spend less money, you don't need to make as much money. Also, he never returned to his initial thesis. It was supposed to be about convincing you that 47 million was more than whatever 100 million. And I think if he was a good video essayist, he would, bring it back at the end and be like, so this 47 million meant more profit than this, which is obviously the basic concept that he was going for, but he never fucking brought it back around.
No.
He just forgot his initial point. Oh, look, Utterly Noah has another anti fucking Gwifta video. Let's watch Grizzies instead.
I wish we could, but we gotta bounce, y'all. So closing argument. Well, John already gave his. Evan, closing argument.
Well, as John said, you can kind of get Anthony's initial point, but he seems to go around his other arguments so much so that it seems like he kind of forgot it at first, but he ultimately came back to it. But again, it's one of those arguments that you can kind of guess, and you really didn't need all the information to kind of understand.
Yeah.
And I do think, and I will give him this. You don't really need to reinvent heroes every now and then, but you could hypothetically do movies or specific IPs and specific characters, and you don't have to give them like an astronomical budget in order to make the move back. Like, I always thought if you want to make a good low budget Spider-Man movie, you should re-adapt The Death of Jean d'Arc.
Oh, Gene DeWolf, you mean?
Yes, sorry, Jean DeWolf, my bad.
Maybe. Well, anyway, that's just all for today. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up, comment below for videos, subscribe for more videos like this, and we'll see you guys next time in the backseat, because I'm going to bed. Take care!